What is up, everybody? We've been live for 5 minutes on Instagram and realized I didn't push the button on YouTube. This is the J&J Dating Dynamics podcast coming at you with episode 12. This is hilarious. What is going on, Justin? How you doing, brother?
Not bad, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, bro. My God. All right. So today we're coming at you episode 12. We're going to talk about sexual market value. We're also going to talk quite a bit. Actually, we're going to start with men and women, what we find attractive in each other, because that is what determines our sexual market value. Justin, tell us a little more. Tell me your thoughts about this topic.
Well, I'd like to definitely define it for people. SMV, sexual market value, is the measure of desirability from the opposite sex. So we're talking about how only the opposite sex can determine, where your SMV is at, because you can't choose your own number. Somebody else has to give it to you.
We got Mello joined on the Instagram side. What up, Mello? Now, I think it's important to understand men and women find things in each other very differently. Very different things in each other attractive. So women will find things like status, money, how established you are, your ability to provide, your ability to keep her safe. Those are things women prioritize along with your looks. Men, on the other hand, we prioritize things like youth, beauty, fertility, femininity, ability to keep a home. We prioritize those things. Therefore, men and women hit their peak sexual market value at very different ages. Women will hit it around 22, 23, 24. Men will hit it around 36 to 38 ish. And of course, a big shout out to Mr. Rollo Tomasi, who is the godfather of all this knowledge. He literally wrote the book on hypergamy. On the Instagram side, guys, if you would come over to the YouTube side, you can check out my story or Justin's story, and the link should be there for you to come over on the YouTube side. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. We're gonna be hanging out on Instagram probably for a few more minutes, a couple more minutes. Justin, I'll leave that one up to you. Now, Justin, would you ever sacrifice? So, read me again your list of things that you prioritize as far as attractiveness of women.
Um, my list definitely go first for looks.
Mhm.
Definitely weight, height. For me, has to be shorter than me.
Okay.
But that's just me because I'm a short guy.
Yeah, I
Um,
always say not every man really cares about height. I prefer shorter women also, but height is as important to women as weight is to men. So sorry, go ahead.
also her health,
Okay.
age, femininity, fertility, and then I'd say secondary traits that I look for as a benefit or like a plus is
Mhm.
if she's intelligent, if she's funny, if she is warm-hearted and has a great personality. But that's just plus. But for me, those are also important things that I look for. Like I definitely will sacrifice looks for the secondary traits. Like if she has the perfect personality and
Wait,
she's
how much would you sacrifice? I mean, I'm assuming
um
you wouldn't go date, the girl from a 6 by 600 pound life.
no.
So, so how much
Um
are you willing to sacrifice?
I mean, if I look at myself, I'm pretty slim and slender, so
Okay?
you know, weight for me is a big thing, but looks don't have to be perfect. But to be
Right.
honest, to make it like a long-term thing for me, like I want to be generally attracted to you inside and
Yeah.
out.
Look, the bottom line is, and I come from a different school. Well, maybe not a different school, but I believe sex to be the most important thing in a relationship, more than communication, more than trust, more than anything. Sex and genuine desire are the most important things. If you lose that, you can't get it back. So, as crude as it may sound, if your girl doesn't give you a boner, not gonna work. So, looks are very, very important. All right.
Yeah, but if not only that, because your girl could totally do it for you in that way, but if she's not stimulating you mentally in any other
Oh,
way, like
of course, you're gonna get bored. Also,
yeah, I get bored. Like for me, if you have a connection with the woman and she does it for you, like on the outside, bro,
yeah, no, definitely.
I
All right.
always compare it to Half Baked. I said this earlier today.
The movie.
You ever seen the back of a $20 bill?
There's a guy hiding in the bushes.
Yeah, no. You ever seen the back of a $20 bill on weed?
Oh yeah.
I compare that like sex. Like sex for me is just sex. But sex with the connection together
Sure.
with a woman is just like that much better.
Nice. All right, we are gonna come off Instagram, guys. If you're on Instagram, please, please, please come over to the YouTube side. The link is either on my story or in Justin's story. Guys, if you're on the YouTube side, please go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps us bring up the show in the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe so you can be appraised or you can get notified every time we go live, which by the way is every Wednesday and every Sunday at 8 p.m. this time. And we
Guys,
are going to start doing clips of our old videos so you can have all shorter bite-sized content. But the live is where it's at. Go ahead, Justin.
no, I was gonna say to everybody, if you guys didn't see Wednesday's episode, it was pretty good.
Oh, that
Uh,
was fire.
Me and Joel had a good debate. He didn't believe that men and women could be friends. I do.
I still don't believe it.
So I challenged him and I brought on some of my really good female friends. It was a great episode.
Justin, the whole night.
What happened?
That was cap the whole night, bro.
Bull, bro. I never.
You were capping. If they called you at 3 in the morning, you'd pull up. All right, well, let's come off Instagram, come back and reset the show. We're gonna bring on Geeky Anomaly. Instagram, please come on. Check out Justin's link. Check out my story or his story, and come join us on YouTube. Join the revolution.
Guys, like Joel just said, check out my story, click the link, and it'll bring you to the YouTube live. And if you have anything to say, let us know in the comment section. If you want to join us, it'd be great. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can endorse that comment for sure. All right, it is episode 12 of King Charles' favorite new podcast, the J&J Dating Dynamics podcast. Join me today. I am Jay. He is Jay. That guy there is Jay. And today we are talking about sexual market value and what men and what women find attractive. Now, I have a pretty good friend of mine joining us tonight. His name is Geeky Anomaly. He lives in Las Vegas. And let's see what he's got to say on this topic. What's going on, my friend? How are you? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good evening, gentlemen. J&J. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Our
Good
pleasure.
evening.
Our pleasure. You don't have to be so formal. It's a relaxed atmosphere, so don't worry about it. You can drink
I
water.
respect what you're doing here because this is something that that I don't think that I could ever do. So I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you saying that. You know, we obviously we're not fresh and fit. We're not Donovan Sharp. We're none of these huge red pill or dating coaches. But Justin, actually, this podcast was Justin's idea, and he said, "I just want to have a conversation." And he and I were both pretty successful with women, but we disagree on a lot of ways how to go about it. He dates much differently than I do, et cetera, et cetera. So we figured, hey, might be a match, a really good match, really good dynamic. So that's why we're here. All right, gentlemen. Before we continue, I want to bring up a couple of charts. Starting with, and Justin, if you want to introduce it, we just talked about how men and women hit their peak value for sexual market value at different ages. So let me bring that chart up right quick.
Yeah, I was saying before how men, as we get older, our wealth just continues to build and build, and we grow our assets, and it just makes us overall more attractive.
Absolutely. Can you guys see that real well?
Yeah.
All right. So this chart again was done by Rollo Tomasi, the godfather of the manosphere, the man who literally wrote the book. And if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. It's called The Rational Male. It is a 3-book series, and it absolutely changed my life. Geeky, I don't know if you've read it.
5-book series.
Oh, is it up to 5 now?
Yep.
I got to get 4 and 5 then. Justin, have you read it?
No.
Dude, you need to read that
You
book.
guys got to put me on. Actually, you just put me on recently.
On what?
To Rollo.
Yeah, bro, you gotta read his books. They are absolutely life changing. Anyway, here we see the sexual market value graph, you see over here, you guys can see my cursor, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right here, you see the peak sexual market value for women. Right here, you see it for men. It's at around 36, 37. And here is about 23, 24. So you have about a 13 or 14-year gap there. Ideally, I believe that's when a marriage should happen. I always go back to my mom and dad, my parents. My dad, when he married my mom, he was 34. My mom was 18.
Wow.
And God bless them. They were married for nearly 50 years before my dad passed away a couple months ago. It was by far the best example of a healthy relationship that I could have ever got. And I believe my sister will say the same thing. What do you guys think about this graph? What do you see here?
I definitely see, just like we spoke about, I see older men have the value. I'd say a man of my age and my status at the moment should be getting younger women around the age of 20 to 25.
I agree. One thing that I find interesting, and Geek, if you want to comment on this, you see right here at the start, women obviously shoot up very, very quickly, but men shoot up slower. Then we kind of stagnate. Then we shoot up very quickly right after 30, and then our decline is much slower, much slower. See, we still have some perceived value at 55 over here. Meanwhile, women, they come up very fast and they go down extremely fast. By the
Well,
time they hit 40, they barely have any sexual market value left, according to this chart.
to be honest, men just age well. Like
Yeah.
we really do. Like,
And,
bro, I'm a straight dude, and I look at some older men, and I'm like, dude, what a handsome gentleman, bro. I
Pierce
hope to be like that
Brosnan,
guy.
Sean Connery. I know those are outliers because they're celebrities, but case
No,
in
but
point.
for real. I mean,
yeah,
if you look at the
point for a
peak,
reason.
if you look at the peak and look how it slowly declines, I think that's because of a man's, not the looks. I mean, the man's looks kind of stay, but it's more the assets and his value just kind of stay that way, where women are solely based on their looks. I feel
Absolutely.
it's going to be a quick up and down.
Right. Absolutely. A man can start go gray, um, or like you said, get a little bit older. But the fact that he's once he's established, once he has status, those things are going to keep him far more attractive than a woman, and those
And
things are what's important to women.
yeah, and guys, don't get this twisted out there. This is a chart for men that are go-getters and work hard.
Of
This
course,
isn't,
not every man's going to be here.
yeah, because
Uh, this,
seriously, you
this
can
I would say,
stay at
yeah,
that mid-level and you could
I would say this
never.
is a chart for the top 40% of men. I don't know if that sounds rash or whatever, but not all men hit. See, I believe a lot of men maybe come here and then they stagnate,
Yeah.
and then it goes up a little bit. You gotta be on your grind, right here between 23 and
Yeah.
30. That's when you go.
Seriously, if I
That's
could give any advice to men from like their 20s going into their 30s, it's just like focus on yourself. And I hear, you hear that all the time when you're younger, and it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you keep partying, you going out with your friends. But like, seriously, you have to build yourself and figure out what you're going to do with your life, and you'll be a man of value.
Michael
I
Reed.
completely agree, Justin. If as I grow older, whenever younger guys come to me and ask me for advice, usually what I end up telling them is from age 18 to 30, work 80 hours a week, whether it's one job or two jobs, whether you go to college or not. Like if you're going to college, then yeah, graduate with a useful degree, engineering, computer science, something like that. But if you're not going to college, I say you work 80 hours a week from 18 to 30 because you're young and you're full of energy, and that's when your body can take it. And you stock up all that money, your investments, save up for a house. And then when you hit 30, you quit the job that doesn't pay as much. And then you take a vacation from the primary job, travel the world, come back to your house, come back to your good career, and then you're set up for a long time.
That's beautifully said right there. Michael Rita says men are like a fine wine, women dot 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 milk. He says women are born with all the value they'll ever have. They spend their life depleting it. That is absolutely correct. Women are, and I've said this before on the podcast. Women are born, men are made. A man has to make something of himself. A woman is born with all the agency she needs. A woman, all she really has to do is go to the gym, work out, and be feminine. That's it. That'll do it right there. And then Mike goes on, men work their whole life to earn their value. That is absolutely right. All right, now there's a problem though, because society tells women something completely different. And I'm going to bring up this other chart, which is the same sexual market value chart according to feminists. And here we go. Bam. So here we see the exact same chart, except women's peak never decreases until they're almost 50. It never.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Now this is done by Rollo. I think it's obviously a little satirical, but women are told this. Women are told they can have it all and have their career, and their peak's never going to decrease. They're just as beautiful at 40 as they were when they were 20. Women are told this all the time, especially in the age of social media.
No, I mean,
Haven't you heard before? I've heard it a million times that women hit their peak sex drive like at 40.
Yep,
yeah.
I've
That is
heard
an
that as well.
lie, bro. That is absolutely a lie.
I feel like women over 40 are hitting it.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think women estrogen works very differently than testosterone. Estrogen, I mean, those fluctuations are more because of their menstrual cycle, not because of the hormones. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's stop sharing that one. And let's see what else the chat has to say. Nothing yet. All right. So, Justin, what do you rate yourself?
I can't rate myself, bro.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead. Be self-critical here. I'll rate myself too.
Honestly, I would like to say I'm a 7.
Okay.
What the?
The red flag. I would actually rate myself at a 7. Also, I do have things that I need to work on. I'll never be a 10 because I'm not as tall as women want us to be. But I think I'm a 7. What about you, Geeky?
6.
Okay,
Well,
why?
Even
What
though
do you
my
need to work on?
definitely fitness. Fitness is the absolute number one thing I have to work on. I've lost 70 pounds in the past 2 years,
Oh wow.
but I am nowhere near what I could be.
Sorry.
So he
But-
just went from a 5 to a 6.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, well, I would say I went from a 4 to a 6 just by
Okay.
losing 70 pounds. But
Nice.
I mean, my money is just now starting to be on track. Now, I will say with pride that I got to where I am with no college degree and no student loan debt whatsoever. But so my money's coming up, but my fitness now needs to catch up to my money. That's where I'm deficient right now.
Okay. No, that's very good. And I always tell, especially younger guys who are, struggling a bit. The number one thing you can do is get your ass in the gym. That'll fix. It won't fix everything, but it'll give you the energy you need and the focus you need in order to fix everything else.
Because all things else being equal, say the income is the same, a ripped 21-year-old dude is going to get more tail than a fat 50-year-old dude.
Oh, of course, it doesn't matter. Well, fat fit. See, that's the thing. A woman whose sexual market value is I'll even say 2, but sexual market value is a 3, a 4, a 5. She'll get laid for sure. There's
Yep.
guys out there willing to hit it.
Yep.
A man who's a 4, 3, or 2, nope. And that speaks to hypergamy, Justin. What you were always talking about, how top 20% of men are the ones sleeping with all the women.
They are.
Yeah,
I absolutely believe that, and we have the stats to back that up.
absolutely. Those stats are out there. Let's take a look here. I have some more charts that I actually found pretty interesting. These are from OkCupid. the one of the most popular dating sites when dating sites started. Where are we here? Let's see. Ching. Boom. And this is an article I think from Business Insider. Here we go. All right, we're just gonna look at the charts, okay? Can you guys see those? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So here is what men say. So this chart shows us a man's age and what they say women's age are at their hottest. Which age of woman looks best to him?
So
This is what
if you
they say.
find your age, what does it say?
20. Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I
All men are saying the hottest women are 20, 21, 22,
I
20.
don't know about you guys, but mentally, like, yeah, definitely they're at their peak hottest, but mentally I can't go for a woman under 25.
Oh, and I can
Why
understand
not?
why. Right here it says look their best.
Yeah.
This
Why
is
not?
based on why not, Justin?
Why not?
Yeah.
Um
Now hang on. When you say go for, you mean
I
get into a relationship or do you
no,
mean
yeah,
Like
like
shooting your
going
shot in the club.
no. I'm definitely shooting my shot. I mean, she's definitely coming home with me. Um but I'm talking about like pursuing a relationship.
and I will vouch Justin has very, very good night game. Very good.
Like pursuing a relationship with a girl that's not even 21 yet. Like I feel like I've actually gone through this in the past, and like I literally watched my ex-girlfriend grow up in her young 20s, and she went batshit. And it's like I was slowing down in my later 20s, but I was like, all right, she's going batshit. Let's go batshit together. And we just tore it up here. We tore it up in Miami. And then I just look back and I'm like, bro, I let that girl go wild
What do
instead
you
of
mean by that?
like we just had a lot of fun. I feel like when a girl hits 21, you can like legally go to any bar or club. I mean, we all know girls get in at an early age anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but I just feel like in the young 20s, especially for any girl that comes up in a strict household, when they reach that age, like they just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun and they really just go out and party and live it up. And I feel like if you jump into a relationship with a younger woman, she's going to live out her 20s with you, but then when she gets to her late 20s, like her mind starts to change about you and life, and like it's just weird. I've seen it in circumstances.
That's a very common pattern.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got married around 24, 25, and that's exactly what happened. Now, I do think that depends a lot on the man. I think if you as a man, you know, through the marriage, through
Mm-hmm.
your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, if you stay on your grind, you keep your fitness up, you keep that relationship fresh, you keep
And
her
you
happy.
hold straight.
I don't think it needs to happen that way. Now, let me take a moment to reset, though. Mike Rita does say you got to scoop them off the market before they hit the streets, though, when they're young. I would say you got to scoop them off the market before they hit the streets or the cloud. Because if they're up on OnlyFans, that's it. You know?
There's a
No, let me reset real quick. You are watching the J&J podcast. I am Jay. The guy below me is Jay. The guy below him is Geeky Anomaly, buddy of mine, who's here joining us talking about sexual market value. This is episode 12 of King Charles' favorite new podcast, the J&J Dating Dynamics podcast. If you're on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe. That helps us out quite a bit, more than you know. And we are going to keep pumping out the content every Sunday and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. All right. Right here, we are looking at a chart, as I was just saying, of what age men think women look their hottest. Right here on the left, you see men's age. Even at 50 years old, men are saying 22-year-old girls are the
It
hottest.
just stays in those 2 years from 20 to 22.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and you know that's true. That is absolutely true. All right, let's move on though. And here we see a woman, the same chart, but for women, essentially. You see the woman's age and when they say men are their hottest. So, yeah, that is very, very. They're always older than the woman, usually. See, right here, it starts to get 39, 40, 40 when you start getting women over 40. But here, this is a clear, I mean, this chart shows as easily and as clearly as you can that women are sex objects and men are success objects. Am I right?
I agree.
Shout out to Rolo.
Shout out to Rolo, and it's absolutely true. All right, let's move on here to the next chart.
Uh,
And again, this is data from OkCupid, which is one of the first and most extensive dating sites. I do think they own a few other apps
yeah.
nowadays. Sorry, Geeky, you were saying.
It's okay. If I could, before we jump on to the second set, could I address something to Justin real quick?
Of
Sure.
course. Let me bring this off the screen and let's go.
So it's interesting what you said about a younger gal kind of like going through her 20s and going crazy. But what's interesting that I think we need to acknowledge is that ideally what's supposed to happen is that in her early 20s, the young woman is supposed to move away from her father's leadership and responsibility into her husband's. So if the father is leading the family and maintaining responsibility for his children, she's then supposed to get transferred from that to her husband, who then takes leadership role of the relationship and responsibility for her behavior. So I respectfully disagree there with that all women are going to, behave like that in their early 20s, because ideally what's supposed to happen is that they're supposed to go from living with their parents to living with their husband.
Well,
Hey,
that's
we got a porn bot on the chat. Anyway, go
to
ahead.
be
Oh, yeah,
honest.
we made it.
To be honest, that's what you just described is how I would love for things to be, because I've always been like a hopeless romantic. Like, I believe in old school love. I think that's how things should happen. But I'm saying from what I'm seeing out there is like it's getting more and more diminished day by day, and that's not what's happening. It's more a case of, you said it's from the daughter's father to the husband, so it's almost like there's a transfer. Here's, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But for the in between nowadays in the modern world, I feel like it's, who are the men to think that we're supposed to get in between that handoff? Like, they're like, nah. Between the media and social media and everything that's being pushed on women, no, we're independent. I like my dad. I just moved out of my dad's house. I'm a bad bitch. I got my own apartment. I got a job now. You know what I mean? So like now we're competing with that mentality.
So when that happened with you, do you think at that time that you were mature enough and had the right mindset to lead that relationship to kind of wrangle in her early 20s and keep her from going crazy?
From the start, I knew what I was doing. I knew that she was young, and I knew she almost felt like a little lioness, like untamable. And I had to kind of like let her have her fun. And I knew as she got older, I could kind of reel her in and start to set more like realistic goals and to grow together. And it eventually ended up happening. Like she started a business, and I was just like the wind literally beneath her wings. Like, I helped her with every aspect of it. And I ended up relocating so she can chase that dream. And that's the kind of dude I am. Like,
Is that why you moved to Miami? For her?
yeah.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
thought you moved
absolutely.
down and she didn't follow.
No, dude, I did not want to move down to Miami. I was successful up here. I had just gotten signed with Warner Brothers for my music. Like, my career was taking off.
And
But
this is the woman you're no longer with, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Michael Rita says, good point, Geeky, but society, peers, social media, and feminism, exactly what we were just saying, all pushing women to do the desire to live it up, go wild and crazy. You can have it all. That show, Sex in the City, bro. You can't have it all.
Seriously.
Women need to learn how to sacrifice. In fact, we always talk about finding that unicorn, finding that 10. Women actually think that the woman unicorn is like 34 with a career, and a ton of money. We don't care about that. Our unicorn would be a 23-year-old girl who still lives with her parents and has no tattoos and is a virgin. That's
Yeah.
a female unicorn.
basically.
I'm sure if Nikki
I
was
mean,
here, she would be yelling at me.
that's definitely a unicorn, but I don't care. Unfortunately, I don't care about the whole virgin thing.
Oh well,
Um,
it's impossible to find these days. So wow,
yeah, I don't even care about that. For me, it's just like it would be to find a young woman that's actually ready to commit
sure.
and like start a family. That would be a unicorn to me.
Again, that's not easy to find though. All right,
No,
let's go
to
back to our
be
cards here.
I was
Oh,
gonna say that to
go
be
ahead.
honest, I feel like it's more women that are hitting their close to their like late 30s or 40s that are wanting children. More and more.
Yeah, because they're being told to wait to have children. That's
Yeah, but
part of society now. If you have children at 25, it's like, what the hell are you doing?
we haven't touched on this. What's happening to these bad bitches and the boss ladies, and what's happening is they're getting older. Actually, we touched on it on an older episode where you brought up the CEO of the past CEO of
Yeah,
Facebook.
the CEO of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, where she tells women, date the bad boys, that they date the commitment phobic boys, and then when you're ready to marry, find you somebody that wants a quote unquote equal partnership.
Mm.
But the point is, women are being bad bitches so long and being so picky about men is that they don't realize that, like those charts, their looks and their SMV is going like this,
It's called
and
the
then
wall.
they're just like hit with the wall, and they're just like, where are all the good
What
men
the
at?
hell happened? Where are all the
It's
good
like
guys?
you
Why
passed up on all those good men.
You out earn them now too.
Yep. And so those men who don't out earn her now become less attractive. So now her pool shrinks. And now she buys a cat and a second cat.
And then
And a
Aston
third cat,
Martin,
and then
color blue.
yeah, exactly. And she's on antidepressants. All right, let's go back to the chart here. From Business Insider. The very, very, very telling things. And okay, so here we are looking at, let me see if I can enlarge it. Ooh. Too much, too little. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. Here is the age range of women. Men say they're most interested in trends to. So essentially, before we saw what men think women look their hottest at what age, but these are the ages they're actually searching for. So here we see what they said was the hottest, but the ages that they're searching for are right here in the gray. So, for example, a man who's 39 is searching for a girl between 25 and apparently 45. When I'm on dating apps, and I'm actually not on any right now, which is really weird. Um, when I'm on dating apps, I never look for somebody older than me. I don't know why people are doing this, but anyway, Justin, what do you think about this chart?
I'd say it's pretty accurate.
Do you, if you're on a dating app, do you usually search for women who are older than you? I don't know why I find that so interesting.
I've had my preferences up to like I think like 42.
Okay, oh, you like them cougars. What about you, Geeky?
It's not so much cougars. It's just that I honestly feel that women over the age of 35 right now, the modern women, are the only ones that can kind of see how things used to be and how things should be. And they're like, okay, I'll give it a shot with a regular guy. Like, you know what I mean? But that's because they've hit kind of like that wall.
Justin, let me ask you something. You're a good-looking guy. You make money. You have some status. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Why are, and this is part of us having the conversation. Why are you fixated on finding this 30-something-year-old woman who already wants the same things as you, instead of finding you a younger woman and making her realize why the things that you want are good for her?
I can't even relate with younger women.
Okay, well, I guess that answers that.
You know what it is? I'm a sapiosexual and I'm very attracted to intelligence, and it's just maybe I don't search in the right places. Obviously, I'm a biker. I like, you know what I mean?
Sure,
I'm
but
not
the whole sapiosexual thing. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I get it. I get you find intelligence attractive, but to bring the word sexual into it, does like having an intelligent conversation say about quantum physics give you a boner?
No, but intelligence definitely attracts me.
Okay. All right.
Obviously, it's looks first, but I don't like the type of person I am. If you look amazing, but you're dumb, you're still dumb. Like,
Yeah.
you
You're right.
can't paint a piece of shit. Like, I'm sorry.
You can't put lipstick on a pig. I'm telling you. All right. Let's. I think we have one more chart here.
Well, I was. You asked me what I thought about this.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
When I look at this, I see a bunch of blue pill guys that are afraid, who think that they can't get a 20-year-old. That's what I see.
Bingo. Bingo. I think yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I think men are afraid to go after the younger girls, even though I've met ton of younger girls like 22, 23, 24, who flat out say I prefer older men.
Mm-hmm.
Their dating app settings are like at 40, like 35 to 40.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these girls they prefer older men. It's just the way it is.
I don't know. In my experience, I feel like the younger ones are a lot of the foodie call girls out there.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, you got to weed them out.
yeah,
To
you
put
gotta
with
weed them
anyone.
out, and you gotta have your own game in order to if I ever detect that it's a foodie call, I have certain ways of negating that.
Yeah.
Has to do with the types of dates you go on, the way you escalate, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's move on to this next chart. I think this is the last one. So, men say they're interested in women in their own age range, and the same seems to apply to women. So this is what they think looks the hottest, kind of organized, because the first one was kind of all over the place. But yeah, women are usually searching for around the same. Now it surprises me too. Women are searching for much younger people also, because these are women's ages. Like this is where their age curve is
Yeah,
right
that's
here.
actually surprising.
Yeah, that is very surprising. I would think that would be actually almost reversed.
Interesting.
Yep. Here's a kind of a takeaway. Hardly any men in their 30s message 20-year-old women. Here you go. This is who messages 20-year-old women in the black. Look how much that drops by the time you're 27, 28 into your 30s.
Well, I
That's
guess I'm in that 1% sliver right there.
Yep, that's that 1% of men right here.
Now, here's what I will say, and in kind of agreement with Justin. I would say that, especially on a dating app, obviously, day game, night game, actual like real world cold approach is different, or even social circle approach game. That's very different. But yeah, as far as on the dating app goes, I do agree with Justin in that I would say, 18 to 25, it's hard not to find a gal on whose dating profile, like she's doing this, or she's like working her butt in her bathroom and stuff like that. That's very common. But when
Absolutely.
I do find a younger gal who is not doing any of those things, and she's wearing a dress, she has her hair down, and she actually looks feminine, yes, I absolutely do message her, and part of that is based on her age and how she looks.
Right. Is there a particular dating app you prefer?
So I kind of use all of them. I actually, believe it or not, strangely, I get the best results from Bumble. Who'd have thought, right?
I actually do too. I think Bumble's the best one. Tinder is by far the worst. Tinder will get you results, but it's a shit show. It's
Yeah. What results do you want?
exactly depends on what you want. Hinge, I tried it. It's whatever.
I've gotten results from Hinge and Facebook.
Facebook dating, it's all right. I've gotten very few results, but I think Bumble for me is the top one, and Match is actually, if you're willing to pay for it, Match is actually the best one.
I've never tried Match.
Maybe you should, since you're looking for this. I don't know what you're looking for.
Who says I'm looking?
You've said it like 20 times. You want to get married. You want to have kids.
That doesn't mean I'm looking.
You're like a woman, I swear to God.
Yeah, I'm just messing around.
I know.
I'm just saying, listen, you got to find me. You got to lock me down, all right?
Michael Rita says Justin doesn't want to seem like he's punching down.
No, get out of here. No, I'm absolutely looking, but to listen, I definitely think that I am the prize, which is why I'm so picky.
And that's the proper mindset to have. When you're a man, you are the prize.
Like, just because I haven't found what I'm looking for doesn't mean there isn't women that want me, and
Of course.
I'm not ready for them. Like, it's just, it works both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got to say about that.
This is a good time to reset. You are watching the J&J Dating Dynamics podcast, King Charles' favorite new podcast. I'm Jay. That guy out the window is Jay. And joining us is my friend Geeky Anomaly. And on episode 12 tonight, we are talking about sexual market value. I would ask everybody watching on YouTube and who comes across this later, not in live, please hit the like button. It does help us out quite a bit. We are a brand new virgining podcast. So help us out. We're trying to grow here. And I'm going to turn it over to Justin because I think he had something to say.
I was going to say, so I think these days some women might have their SMV a little inflated.
Oh, a little?
Understatement of the month.
A little?
And the reason I say this is because men will sleep down, and I feel like women fail to realize this. And I don't know how to say it, but I ended up having a conversation with a friend about it, and it's like, I was like, men will sleep down, like, and women, they're looking like average women that I grew up with in my hometown that are in my bracket, like they should be dating men like me. They won't date men like me. They look for something that's more white collar, and they don't realize that the white collar guy will sleep down, but they can't keep that man. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And then it inflates in their head, and they're like, but I don't understand. Like, I get guys like this all the time. Yeah, I know you get guys like that all the time. Like,
you know what? You get guys like that to smash, they'll never put a ring on it.
Sexual attraction versus relationship attraction.
And that's where we come with this whole men ain't shit, but that's all the girls sleeping with that same 20% of men.
It is an overinflated sense of value that mainly comes from social media. And you see it, daily when girls who are 2s, 3s, who shouldn't really be in the dating market will post a picture of themselves in a bathing suit, spilling out of it. And all their friends are telling them how beautiful she looks, how hot she is.
Yeah. And
all these guys who are putting, emojis with the hearts in the eyes. And
like, you can be.
Stop simping, guys.
These are the same women who are getting on these dating apps and saying, please be over 6 feet tall and make, over 6 figures. Who are you to demand anything? Your sexual market value is like a 2. You'd be lucky if you get a guy who's a 3. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, they don't realize that you can be an 8 or a 9 to certain guys out there, but those guys are like 4s and 5s. Exactly. Like, to another man, you can be a 4 or a 5. It depends on the man.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we can all pretty much agree on a basic standard of beauty.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that comes and goes. All right. Do you want to watch a clip of last week's episode real quick? I know you wanted to hit that up.
Yeah, I wanted to let our subscribers know, or anyone that's tuned in live with us, they might have missed an awesome episode on Wednesday.
Pretty great. All right, let's do about a minute of that, and let's take a break here. Our first and only break on the J&J Dating Dynamics podcast.
And after we're done with this, I want to hear Geeky's opinion since he's here with us.
Sounds very good. I picked a time at random, Justin. So here we go.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
by definition, it's not a platonic friendship. A platonic friendship, by definition, you can look this up. I'll look it up right now. It's non-sexual.
Right. Let me adjust
And
her.
a man never approaches a woman who he finds attractive for a friendship.
Is there a lot of echo?
Never.
I think me
Not
and Justin
once.
were sexualizing each other because we met in first grade. So
Yeah, I know.
thinking about sex.
Well, maybe
See,
that's a
like
little
that.
different, but I guarantee you still, if you texted him at 3 in the morning, Justin, pull up, he'd pull up.
But what I'm trying to tell you, I don't
Yeah,
even know.
I'd probably pull up to fucking dry her tears or something, or like
Joel.
Joel.
Okay, that brings us to another interesting. What?
Did you guys hear what I was hearing? It sounded like a bunch
Yeah,
of
it's
echo.
double audio.
Oh,
So
really?
it's doing double back.
Yeah, it sounded
I
insane.
heard it perfectly.
It sounded insane.
Well, it was insane anyway, but
Anyway, let's not play that because it sounded.
all right. Sounds like a plan. Now, Geeky, I think the basic question here is, do you believe men and women can be platonic friends?
They absolutely can be, with the caveat that the man loses out.
Of course. That's the point I'm
Um,
trying to make. And at that point, I don't believe they can.
And I would also argue then from the woman's standpoint, well then does she truly have a friend? Because the man's just going to want to have sex with her the whole time. So is he then truly her friend? So then does she truly even have a friend in the truest sense of the word?
I've never wanted to sleep with my girlfriends. Like that was never.
Bro,
That was
stop capping. They're hot.
my female friends. I've never I've made friends with them in such an organic way that didn't really give me the grounds to view them like that. You know what I mean? So it wasn't an issue jumping into a friendship. I mean, Nikki's my closest girlfriend.
Mhm.
Like she said, first grade, we go back. Like we weren't even, our minds weren't there sexually. So we came up like brother and sister. My friend Penny came 10 years ago through an artist I was working with. And it's just like we're in that same bubble. I'm not necessarily like, she's not literally like necessarily my type, but she's a cool person. So we vibe because we were working in the music industry together and we happened to form a friendship. Like I don't know. The sexuality was out of it. And then we became friends.
I want you to, they're not here.
Yeah, they're not.
I want you to admit right now, because I know it's true and I know you keep. If they texted you at 3 in the morning, pull up, I'm horny, you would do it. Admit it.
Bro, they would have to force me and hold me down.
Oh, yeah, that's your captain.
No, I'm joking.
Stop
No,
capping.
seriously. I told them last week. I told them in person. I'm like, I'm attracted to all of you girls. Like, that's why I love having you guys in my life. I mean, I'm attracted to attractive people, and that goes for men as well. Like, I'm not talking about I'm talking about personality, and that's why I have them in my life. I don't know, bro. Seriously, if they, bro, all right, put it this way. Ask me a deeper question. Would I ever jump into a relationship with any of my female friends?
Would you?
No.
Well, jump is a loaded way of wording it.
Yeah.
Would I engage in a relationship?
Very differently. We were never really talking about relationships. We're talking about sex.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm a guy. If she came at me and wanted to and was completely down and understood that's all it was, of course I'll say yeah. But like, I don't want any lines to be blurred.
There it is.
Yeah, I just said it. Like, I am attracted to them. I said it while they were here and while we were live. I'm attracted to you guys. But that doesn't mean I can't control myself on acting.
It's not about control though. You can't control attraction. Attraction simply happens. It cannot be negotiated. It cannot be reasoned.
I agree. I agree.
I should have brought you on last week, Geeky. I needed some backup for that episode.
I agree, but that doesn't mean I make a move on them ever.
The most famous line on every sitcom when you have a bunch of friends, even the sitcom friends, goes, I don't want sex to ruin the friendship.
Oh, no, bro. Listen, I've had female friends that I have had sex with, and it was just that. Like, it was just sex, and we're still friends to this day. But as long as it's understood that it's just sex. Because for real, my girlfriends, my female friends, I know them so well, like mentally, that I would never want to be in a relationship with them.
Well, you know what? Let's just leave it at maybe you are the exception to the rule, but the rules cannot be made by the exceptions.
I
So
agree. I agree. Bro, I know I'm an exception to the rule because like I told you, dude, I've always been a musician, so I've never had game. The girls kind of always came to me and like
mhm.
my whole band was going. There's always tons of girls around.
Don't
Like
sell
it
yourself
was
for you got game. Some.
And
I don't
that's
have
also
I don't
that's also a sexual archetype. Like what Rolo says, women they look for. It's like a casting agent for a role. Does this guy fulfill the role that I want to be involved with? Some women want, the what's his name, the Mr. Gray, the high
yeah.
powered
Right.
finance guy in the suit. Some girls want the tattooed rock star. Some girls
Yeah.
want the biker. It's an archetypal character that is going to attract a very large portion of
Of
the female
course.
population.
I
I
can say that like absolutely hands down that coming up as a young musician, and like I said it in the beginning of this episode, a male's SMV, our sexual market value, is on how desirable we are by other women.
Mm.
And because I feel like in my early 20s, I was very desirable, they would just come left and right. I never had to go out there and try and get it. Like I even got used and abused in my day. I had girls telling their friends like, "Yo, he's a beast. Go try it. Go try it." And I'd be like, "All right, thanks." Like,
All right, we are coming up on close to an hour, so you are watching the J&J podcast. This is King Charles' favorite new podcast. I don't know why I went with King Charles today, but whatever. I think I saw him on the news earlier. Next on Wednesday, we are going to be talking about first dates, do's and don'ts, and we're going to be talking about foodie calls a little bit more in depth. It was the subject of our first ever episode, but due to technical difficulties, that episode was well crap. So we're gonna do it again. And for episode 14, that's next Sunday. This is gonna be a good one. We're gonna get some girls, and we're gonna answer the question: why are men studs and women are sluts? So, with that, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Justin, give me your final thoughts, brother.
my final thoughts.
Sexual market value.
For men, bro, keep getting your game up, get on your grind and get your shit together. If you're not getting girls out there, don't worry about that right now. If you're not getting girls out there, there's a reason. And you know what that reason is. Deep down, when you look inside yourself, you'll know what that reason is. Just like my man Geeky over here said, he's slacking on his fitness. There's things that we can fix about ourselves, even look wise, get a haircut, dress different. You start to carry yourself different and you'll start to attract a different quality female. Um, for women, I don't know. I feel like women need to be a little bit more open and honest with themselves on what they're looking for in a man, and to be honest, for women's sake, like you keep looking up towards these men and you're just getting ran through. Like, kind of look more in your range, settle
Yeah.
for the nice guy a little bit. You never know what could happen. That guy might be loyal to a T. You might be able to start that beautiful
Oh,
family that you want. And I
the,
don't know.
the point becomes that women find nice guys boring these days. And it's unfortunate because a lot of nice guys are out there who may not be boring, but they carry that stigma with them. Geeky, give me some final thoughts, brother.
You're completely right. By the way, relationship stability is often conflated with boredom with women, whereas men perceive it as peace.
Right.
But final thoughts, definitely men 18 to 30 work 80 hours a week, stack cash. If you're young and in your 20s and girls aren't noticing you, don't worry about it. Ignore them. Make money, make muscles, learn game, hold frame. Shout out to MLD. And just work on yourself. Be your own mental point of origin. Ladies, also shout out to Kevin Samuels. Just because you're smashing millionaires or smashing six-figure guys or tall, good-looking guys, that ultimately doesn't matter. It's how many proposals for marriage are you getting, and what kinds of men are those proposals for marriage coming from? Are they coming from high-value men, or are they coming from Joe Blow nobody who wants to marry you because he can't find anybody else?
You're
Obviously, you're going to
absolutely
reject
right.
a proposal like that.
You're absolutely right. And just to add to that, when men say, I got this girl, we're talking about we slept with her. When women say, I got this guy, they're talking about a relationship.
Yep, or a ring.
Or a ring, exactly. My final thought is I think the most important caveat around this whole conversation is that especially women need to realize that the things they find attractive in us are not the things we find attractive in them. We don't really care what a woman does. We don't really care about her status.
Nope.
We don't really care. In fact, we don't want sexual experience. A woman wants some sexual experience from a man. She wants him to know what he's doing. We don't really want that, and if she has it, we don't really care. We don't want to know, at least for me. Anyway, that is going to do it for today. Remember, next Wednesday, we are going to be talking about first dates. We're going to give some advice, top 5, top 10 things to do and don't do. And we are also going to be talking about foodie calls, which Justin believes is a real problem in today's society, more than healthcare. We got to fix the foodie call. I'm sad that no politician has addressed this in their campaign speeches. And then on Sunday, we're going to be talking about sluts versus studs. That's going to be a very, very good one. Gentlemen, thank you very, very much for joining us today. Justin, don't leave the studio yet. Geeky, thank you very much, brother. Great to see you.
Nice meeting you, Geeky. Thank you.
Justin.